Hello everyone, this is Kaifu here with game 2 in the series between David and Chamrong. We have David on my left side playing Refrain Rush, while on my right side we have Chamrong playing Little Red Riding Hood, but substituting Little Red Riding Hood into Valentine 1.0. Valentine 1.0 is a mid-game to late-game strategy card, so let's see will it help him in this current game. So let's see now. We do have David playing Refrain Rush, so applying a lot of early game pressure against Chamrong, so not allowing him to get to the mid game to late game. So let's see how everything goes so far. Again, Chamrong is trying to rely on that mid to late game. Once he's able to get that mid to late game, it will put him in a strong advantage he needs to be. So let's get back to the game itself. Currently, life point wise 4,000 compared to 4,000 life point. Nothing has changed at the moment, but except for David going for the power play at the moment, that ideal turn 1 play against any deck out there except for any green deck that has Whirlwind. So Rugic and Cthulhu Living Flame doing a ton of damage, and in comes the block from Oracle and getting a Were-Rabbit, which is key, so he didn't lose anything at the moment, so he's taking 0 damage, but however he only lost 2 cards. At the moment, we do have David applying a lot of pressure, trying to draw into like aggressive cards, and then putting back on the bottom the unneeded cards at the moment, and putting a lot of pressure onto Chamrong because Chamrong has to go to the mid to late game because Valentina itself is a mid to late game card. Without that mid to late game, he won't be able to do anything in the early game. So at the early game, from my point of view, he's going to be trying to stall out his opponent and see if he can go to that mid to late game to apply the game pressure. Now, Chamrong do drop another Red Rabbit and an Oracle in play. That Oracle is very key, so which allow him to keep the flow going, but only if he gets a Red Rabbit. If it's not Red Rabbit, it goes to graveyard instead. Chamrong's going to block and it does die, so obviously when it dies it goes to the graveyard. It gets another Red Rabbit, so now it has more Red Rabbit to play with, but I'm not sure what can the Red Rabbit do in this current situation. As you can see, Red Rabbit is very weak when it comes to attack stat and defensive stat, but when it comes to utility wise, it's very good as well because it has the power to boost, it has the power to like bounce card back and so on. But however, bouncing cards in this game is not that great because you're allowing your opponent to recast the same power card again. So it's not like Magic when you bounce a card back, or you make them tap down or something, but in this current game, you bounce it back. You do not want to bounce it back because they will actually re-trigger those enter abilities and so on. Dropping another Oracle in place to get this flow going. He actually dropped 3 Oracle for now, so that's very good for now. So meaning that he can get the defensive play going and so on. But he did take the 600 damage from the last lot, putting him down to 3,400 compared to David's 4,000 life point. So let's see, David's going to go for the aggressive play at the moment, paying 2 resource and putting the sword under the last slot. Very dangerous card at the moment. Not only will burn 700 damage directly to a single resonant, but burn 700 directly to the player as well, because the sword actually does whenever a damage being dealt by the resonant by ability or combat in general, it will allow him to get extra damage off the game. He is going to flash in another Red Rabbit from Valentine's ability, but however he's going to take at least 17 damage directly to the game, because not to the game, directly to his face, because think of it this way, it's already 1,000 and burning 700 directly, so that's clearly 17 damage on the board, and he's declaring a block as well, surprisingly. If I was Chamrong, I will actually take the damage because I'm going to lose a resonant anyway. So if I take the damage and I lose a resonator as well, I might as well keep the resonator at the same time and just take damage. So that will be me, but let's see how can Chamrong do in this situation. He's not in a good situation at the moment because his opponent is really rushing to the point. So at the moment he's playing very defensively, and not only that, to make matters worse, he's exactly on 17 life, so meaning the next win from Lancelot will be game. Not looking too good for Chamrong, but at the moment Chamrong has to think of some way to stop that Lancelot from killing him. So maybe a Rabbit Kick or something. Rabbit Kick will be great at the moment because, yes, I said before, Rabbit Kick, or I should say bounce card is not that great, but however, a Lancelot with a Susano sword, you do not want that on the field with the equipment spell, so you want to bounce that back to his hand, so at least the equipment will go to the graveyard, so you don't have to worry about getting burned bajillion time, and it will be burning exactly 17 for game. So Chamrong is in a tough situation at the moment, not looking too good as well. So yeah, He doesn't have any ideal removal spell unless he plays Sign to the Future, and even if he does play Sign to the Future, he doesn't exactly have the right amount of resident on the field to be the difference. In order to activate Science to the future, it must be 3 difference, but at the moment there's only no difference at all. So yeah, and dropping another rabbit on the field, so keeping the defense up. But however, no matter how strong your defense is, with that Susano sword and the Lancelot together, yeah, it's gonna be very, very painful in general. Using Reflect Refrain's ability to draw a card and put a card back to the bottom, I don't see the point of it, but I'm pretty sure just doing it just in case emergency. Attacking directly for 1000 and burning 700 to something, because whatever he burns will be directly dealt to his opponent, which he does take, which does put him to 1000 life point. Again, burning 1000 directly as well with the attack from Lancelot. So whether he blocks or takes it, he will lose the game unless Chamrong has a bounce spell in hand, but we already know that he doesn't have a bounce spell. So that's the game, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time. Peace.